1 Extra.
It is Wednesday night, and you know, like I like to do with my Wednesday nights from time to time, I like to invite a real legend into the building just to trace back the story, just to really get amongst it, find out how on earth did it all happen. We like to call those in-depths, and tonight, I'm not gonna lie, I've been wanting to do this. I've been looking forward to doing this for a hot minute. And finally, we get to do it, man, with one of my all-time favorite producers, an absolute OG, a don, a legend. When it comes to UK music, we need to make some noise. It's going to be a real interesting combo. And we've got so much music to get through as well, man, because he just don't stop making bangers. Let's make some noise in the building. For tonight's special guest, in-depth, Shia First. We got there, Shia. We got there.
Finally.
Listen, bro. So first and foremost, man, so good to see you and have you in the building, bro.
Well, I mean, this is the third time we tried to sort it out?
I think it is like the third time we tried. Yeah. Last year, we tried a couple of times, and it's just trying to get the diaries to line
exactly
up.
That.
Then I think you were meant to come in and you was under the weather. Yeah. But now
I'm under
here.
the weather today as well.
You know what I love? You didn't cancel. You didn't be like, no, I'm ill again, Targs. Right. You're going to have to push this back. You were like, I'm coming in.
Do you know what I mean?
So big up and bless up for that, man.
No.
I think, like with what I do with most of these, it's just kind of just like a chat, like a convo about what's gone on, some of the influences, of course, the massive amount of work that you've done and put in to be a part of like this massive UK culture that we celebrate today. I don't feel like it could have happened without Shy FX being in the middle of it.
No.
I know. Listen, bro, like, I'm starting with a big talk straight away.
I don't know what to say.
No, listen, bro, because for those who don't know as well, personally, like, you was a big inspiration to myself, the likes of Wiley, like our whole generation coming up, being, like first generation of grime. Before that, for a lot of people who don't know, we were into jungle music, and namely like the likes of yourself, man. So I just want to go back and just play some of that music and just talk some of the stories, brother.
Cool,
what was behind it, all of that, man.
Like I said to you off mic, just make it easy for me. I don't like to chat too much.
That's what I'm saying. Shy FX, for those who don't know, like, you're not a person who really talks much. You let the music do the talking.
Exactly that.
So yeah, man, we're gonna play some music, just make this as super interesting as possible for everyone who's gonna be tuned in and watching this as well. If we could though, Shy, I want to kind of take it back to like the early beginnings, even before like I knew you, because I came across you like as a young teen, like you were doing your thing. Jungle music was blowing up. We're talking like, I don't know, mid towards late 90s.
Yeah.
But the story kind of starts before that, man. What was kind of your first early your early memories of coming into contact with music first and foremost? What were you listening to around the house and stuff as a youth?
So my grandfather, Count Shelley, was a sound man. And he used to own a record shop called Third World, which is now Body Music in Tottenham.
Yeah, legendary shop as well, man.
Do you know what I mean? So I was just always around that blues parties and whatnot. And so my early memories of it is being like 5-6 years old, hearing the beelines downstairs, walking down, and there's a shebeen going on. Do you know what I mean? Exactly that. You know what I mean?
Them beelines, just rumbling through your bedroom floor from downstairs.
No, exactly that. So, you know what I mean, going downstairs and seeing the parents winding up together and that, which wasn't always, so I wanted to see.
Not always something you want to walk in on.
But yeah, it was always that. And,
man.
I was always at the record shop as well, and so Mum used to work there with my grandfather as well.
So this is literally like in your DNA, in your blood, man. Like
exactly.
The whole music thing, and I guess coming across some of those early sounds. At first, I guess when you're young, it's kind of like you just remember the songs from their bass lines or from certain lyrics, or they remind you of a certain time. Do you remember when it was like, I know this song, like I know the name of it. This is or a song that you wanted to learn the name of.
No, you know what? It was always beelines.
Yeah,
I was always attracted to beelines.
Well, I don't know why why am I not surprised that Shy FX was attracted to beelines, bro?
Because as well, when you just hear it through another room, so you don't really hear the definition, but you can kind of feel what's going on. Yeah. So it was just that. I'd fall asleep to bass lines. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just
that was just kind of just getting instilled in you from a real early age, man.
And then with reggae as well, because a lot of the time it's versions, it's different versions, different artists spitting on the same rhythm track. I just fell in love with the rhythm tracks, not so much the
actual
song.
artist. Yeah. Amazing, man. Now, I want to ask you about a particular record that you kind of picked up as one that definitely got your ear in the early days, Alton Ellis and the Heptones. Let's talk about them guys there. Because these some legendary names for the younger end of the audience. They'll be like, Alton, like what?
Yeah.
Like, we're talking some real legendary artists here, man.
Yeah, when I was asked to pick a couple tunes that my first memories. To be honest, it was that and Loose Ends, Hanging on the String.
Yeah.
Those are the two.
Yeah.
I don't know what captured, what it is, but those are the two that I really remember.
Kind of records that you get hearing on every Sunday type flex
Right,
when the cleaning's getting done, or like
Exactly.
at the family parties. They're the sort of records that would always get blasted as well, man. I think we should get into one of them right now, bro.
Cool, man.
Let's bring those memories back. Shy Effects is in
Nuttah.
for tonight's In Depth. Great excuse to play this. Altonellis, the Heptones, Mr. Scarbina. Wednesday night on the big one, BBC Radio 1 Extras, DJ Target. Tonight, In Depth, a real legendary one. A real OG of this UK music thing. Still killing it. Has been killing it. For a long time now, bro. To be fair.
For a
We
minute.
don't put too many years on things, but you've definitely been killing it for a minute, bro. And that, one of the early inspirations, you just remember hearing those bass lines. For those just checking in, it was the bass lines that really turned your head and your ear to music,
Exactly
bro.
that.
And you hear it all throughout your own productions, like literally from the first record I heard of yours, which I actually had on transparent vinyl on the promo thing. I'm sure you already know which one it was. In fact, I might be correcting myself here, because which one came first, Original Gangster or Nuttah?
Gangster.
Gangster came first.
Yeah.
And was that on the see-through vinyl?
Yeah.
That was right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to check myself before I wrecked myself. But I remember, getting into your music as a teen, but for you, getting into jungle music, which was, on the rise in London and the UK at the time.
Yeah.
How did you, go from those bass lines, those kind of roots rock reggae bass lines into jungle music? How did you kind of make that pathway?
Yeah, so I was running around on a sound system originally called Serena Sound, which was a really young.
Yeah.
I was like 15 or something, really young selector.
Crazy.
And then we set up a sound system called Diamond Touch. So I was making bootleg dub plates, my versions on an Amiga and BBC microcomputer. It was a madness. But then one of the guys bought early Kemet tune or something. I can't remember what it was.
I remember those Kemet Records tunes as well, man. They used to go off.
And I think it was something before that. But as soon as I heard the track, I knew I knew I had to be involved in this.
Was that like, okay, it's got the bass lines that I already love.
Yeah.
It's got like a young, new, fresh feel to it.
Right, and it had this energy that I hadn't experienced. And I went on a sound engineering course and, just to find out and figure out exactly how to make music properly. And one of the placements was a place called Sour Records. Actually, before that was the Mad Professor studio.
Yeah.
So, again, I was in good hands there.
Yeah, of course, man.
And then, went to Sour Records and, made Gangster Kids there.
And that record, really kicked things off. I remember the remix of it as well.
Yeah.
Had like Master Steps talking at the beginning. I remember all those things, and Gunsmoke, legendary MC Gunsmoke as well, who's doing like that whole kind of, it's like almost like a movie scene at the beginning of the record, and then the record dropped. And I remember like early, I was too young to go to raves, but I remember raves like Jungle Splash and Jungle Fever. I don't even think Jungle Fever had even started, and this was super early.
Bro, I was too young to get into the raves, which was mad. I was making music and I went out to actually go to the parties.
To see how, I guess you couldn't even, when you actually saw it for the first time, your own eyes and ears, what your own music was doing to some of those clubs as well. It must have sent you like
the first
crazy,
time I actually saw anything
off.
was Carnival, because I could actually get into Carnival. And that's when Original Nuttah was doing its thing.
Crazy record.
You know what I mean?
This record still to this day, I've drawn for this record in the last week. Right. And the record is what? It's over 20 years old now. Absolute classic. This is like my number one all-time Carnival record as well. Like, need we say any more on this? Shy Effects, UK Apache, Original Nuttah. This is a staple record when it comes to UK culture. The bassline on this, like it should be actually illegal. I don't know. It's crazy, the bassline on this. Doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in a club, in a car, at a festival, at a carnival. Absolutely legendary record. If you're just checking in, it's Wednesday night, and we are in depth tonight with Shy Effects, and it doesn't really get any better than that, to be fair, does it? That record, Gangster had already come out, and then Original Nuttah must have just blown you to like a place where you might not have even expected yourself so early on.
Yeah, it was a madness. But for me, even though I got into it, the Gangster track, I was at Sour Records as a tape op, which is a trainee sound engineer, and I got fired because they wanted me to clean the toilets, and I wasn't really on that.
You must be mad, bro. Listen, I ain't clean the toilets, bro.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it was an idiot thing, really. Do you know what I mean? But
just trying to overstep the mark a little bit there.
Oh no, not even that. My thing is, that was what you're supposed to do. I should have just done it. Whatever it is, well it is. You know what I mean? It's no pride in you know what I mean? It's like just do your thing in it. But yeah, I got sacked from being a tape op, but I'd left the Gangster track there.
Yeah.
And then they heard it, and they, you know, they called me back, and it's like, come on,
backtrack.
We'll sign you as an artist.
Oh, amazing.
So that became a big track, and then UK Patchy's management heard the track, and then Apache came to the studio. Was like, you know what, I got a lyric that I want to spit on this rhythm track, and
there you have it.
Yeah, you know, wow. Two hits out of one
He's
rhythm.
Still spitting that lyric now.
You know what I mean?
To this day, bro. Like,
actually, he's only just come back on the circuit. You know,
really?
He took a break for
amazing,
for like 10 years or so. But
amazing.
Yeah, he's back doing this thing now.
That's a record. Like that. Those 10 years where he was out the game, like. Those PAs were missed, right. I'm sure, because General Levy's been cleaning up, and it's those two are like they both had those two legendary records from that era. That's kind of just seemed to still be going, man. But you were by no means anywhere near done. Like you were literally just getting started as well, then, bro, which is crazy. Like I used to look into like some of those pirate radio stations, Cool FM, and the likes of those, and I'd just be listening in for like, is DJ Brocky gonna play a new Shy FX tune this week, or like, what's gonna happen? And I remember literally one of my friends who actually, he's passed away now. He came from Jamaica and lived in the UK for a while, and he called me one night when Brocky was playing the Ray Keith Chopper remix that you had done.
Right.
And he called me like, and this is like, he was fresh from Jamaica, so he's just getting his head around what even UK and jungle music is.
Yeah.
And he called me, he was like, what's this song? This song is crazy, like whatever he said. Yeah. And I remember that moment, and literally, like, I'm sure as you know, the record just went through the roof.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know what to say. You know what it is? Like, again, I had a plan back then. I loved Cool FM. You know, there was other stations doing their thing, but Cool FM was the station I loved. And I just had a dream that I wanted every DJ to play a tune. And obviously not every DJ is going to like every tune you make. So I made sure that I made so many. Do you know what I mean?
That was the ethos behind it.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what? Ron's going to play this, and I know Brock is going to feel this, I know Ash is going to like that. So I was just making tunes just to hear a DJ play my tune on Cool FM.
But little did you know, like, all the DJs were going to like all the tunes, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much that.
So you probably have like one DJ calling you up asking about the song that he heard Matey play last night, and vice versa. Yeah, crazy. And then Ray Keith, you know, ends up with a golden remix.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair. And so I actually heard a story, I don't know how true this is, that I heard that you originally did that remix for somebody else, a different track.
Yeah, so Potential Bad Boy, my G, he did a tune called Let's Go. And yeah, the remix was originally for that, but then they didn't like it, to be fair. Sorry, Chris.
I don't know, I'd like...
Bro. But yeah, so the Ray shortly after was like, I've got this tune, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I just changed the samples around and changed the key and whatever else. And
amazing.
Yeah.
And the reason I know that is because back in the day I did a back-to-back with Nicky Slim Ting.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. I still don't know how.
But he had the...
He dropped the Let's Go on me, bro. Right. And, like, done my dance. Well, not quite, but it was hard work coming back. Yeah. And this, of course, the official remix. Another absolute... I'm going to stop saying it, but another absolute classic.
Now ready for takeoff.
Shy FX on the remix of Chopper. Yet another record, still to this day, does the exact same damage it did back then. Ray Keith, Shy FX on the remix of Chopper. He's my special guest tonight for In Depth. I think by now, like, your name was riding a massive wave amongst the jungle world. Like, in the raves, you couldn't really play a set. Well, you could, but the crowd wanted to hear Shy FX records in the set, namely like records like this, records like Wolf, like the list just goes on. As long as it had Shy FX's name at the top of it, at the start of it, you knew that record was going to be a banger.
I felt good, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you must have been feeling pretty good around this time because...
Yeah, because ultimately, excuse me, I was making tunes for, again, you know, I did have a list of DJs that wanted to play my tunes, but ultimately the tunes were for me and the man them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we just wanted to fuck out. That's it. So knowing that the tunes that I'm making for us lot is doing damage as well. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's like a win-win.
Yeah. I didn't really care about anything else really. It's just the fact that people actually got to hear what I was making and my expression and everything else. For me, that was the one.
That was it. And I remember it was around these kind of times when like we were doing our thing and we're trying to come up as like young DJs. And another good friend of mine, another friend who sadly passed away as well, man, absolute legend, DJ Trend, aka TNT. Yeah. You guys had linked up. I think, did you meet via Master Steps as well?
Yeah, and MB.
Oh, of course. Legendary MB. And I remember Trend, aka Gifford, he was like, I'm going to meet Shy FX at Music House to go and pick up like 6 test press copies of like your next batch of tunes. And I was like, I'm going to come like, I just want to see this guy. I want to meet him or something. Do you know what I mean? And I remember you pulled up, you had like that bronze, brand new fresh Tigra.
Oh yeah.
Like when Vauxhall Tigras were like brand new. They were like, it looked like a Porsche, like it looked like a Bentley to me. You know, like it was just like, wow, like that car is crisp. And then like I remember you stepped out, you went and got the test presses out of the boot, and you saw that I was with Gifford, and you got another 6 out and gave them to me as well. And I was like, I'm in the game. Like, I've got 6 Shy FX test presses from the man himself, and that was like another moment that I always remember, man.
Yeah, I always remember you from then as well, man. Just your vibe and energy and whatnot, and your excitement.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
like I'm still excited now, but like then it was like I couldn't believe like we was actually getting closer and closer, and like even being at places like Music House where so many legends used to pass through like on a weekly basis. We used to just sit out there and just watch and just hear.
Well, I used to sit out there and watch. Do you know what I mean? It was a magic place.
It was most definitely a magic place. And you know, after dropping the amount of records that you were dropping, all of them shutting down the clubs, it was time for your own label.
Yeah, so I didn't have a label around that point, did I? I can't remember.
The actual timeline of how it went. I think I know. Me, you were dropping every. For me, it was like I always had stuff on white labels, so like I didn't even end up. I didn't know what the labels were in those days.
Yeah, because before I did things like Simple Tins and whatnot. That was a quick little outlet.
Yeah.
But then I set up Ebony and Ivory and so that's This Style, Wolf. Yeah. Etc. They all came out.
Records like this that we're playing in the background.
Yeah, that all came out on the Ebony label.
And then, you know, after that batch of records, you weren't stopping there either, because you linked up with T-Power. Yeah. And then you guys went on to do a whole bunch of stuff together. Yeah. Which then spawned, you know, Digital Soundboy, which came off the back of all that stuff. Have I got the story in the right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And then you continued to make absolute bangers, but I want to talk about a certain record that feels like it kind of was the next stage of your career, because it propelled you into what looked like it was the mainstream charts. It was mainstream media was taking in Shake Your Body. Yeah. And that record was a little bit of a step away from what you had been doing previously with records like Wolf and Chopper, like much more instrumental based, and like definitely just for the man them, you could hear it. And when I heard, you know, you and T-Power doing Shake Your Body, I loved the record firstly, but I was like, right, this sounds like a proper song. It's got a real structure to it. Yeah. You guys are really trying to push the boundaries of where drum and bass can go, man. Yeah.
It weren't even intentional. It weren't even like that. At the time, I was going through some madness, and so was Mark, T-Power. And I always find music as a thing that when dark things are happening, I kind of make the most happy tunes just to get my head out of that space, you know what I mean? So, and at that point as well, drum bass was getting really, really dark. Yeah. And it wasn't what I signed up for.
That was kind of the time then we all drifted over to garage.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It was getting a lot darker, and the stuff that we loved most about jungle was beginning to kind of filter out. Like the bass lines that we really loved, the amount of females that was in the club, and just the sounds of the songs.
You know, without going into it too much, because I just can't be asked for the headaches and stuff, but it got really political. There was an element to jungle that some people weren't really cool with. I mean, there's a lot of trouble that came with it. Let's just, you know, there was a lot of darkness going on, and there was a decision to, you know, kind of move away from that. Not for me,
by the kind of fraternity, like,
you know,
the so-called gatekeepers, or
there was a lot going on. A lot of people suffered from it, and when all that was happening, I just didn't like the music that was going on. And I remember speaking to Fabio at one point actually and saying, you know what, I just want to hear some good, feel good music, man. I want to, you know what I mean? I want to be able to dance. I want to see girls again, just partying and whatnot. And he was like, well, Shy, you're a producer, make it, innit?
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool, same.
And here we go with this. I think you hit the nail on the head as well, bruv. This was most definitely a humongous feel-good record, like a summer anthem. Still rings off today as well, man, without a doubt. Shy FX and T-Power, Shake Your Body. It's Wednesday night. We are in depth. That's right, we're in depth tonight with one of the biggest UK legends. I've been looking forward to this. Just getting amongst the music and some of the stories behind them. I'm sure you guys are being inspired out there. Shy FX is in the building for tonight's In Depth. That was a top 10 record as well. Let's not make any mistake. That was a top 10 record. That was your first like, I guess, proper top 10 chart kind of success?
Yeah, I had quite a few top 40s, but that was the first top 10.
How did it kind of make you want to do more of that? Were you kind of like, right, I'm done with the what's going on in drum and bass?
No, that's not how I work, man. I just make music for me. I know it sounds mad, and I think every stage of my career, like, you know, when I was just doing the original Nuttah and whatnot, and then past that it was this style and Wolves and that, you know, there'd be a few people like, oh, I'll make some more tunes like
there's always gonna
original Nuttah. And when I made Bambata, it's like that was
Bambata. I could do a whole hour talk on Bambata alone.
You know what I mean? But you'd always have people be like, oh, mate, with some more tunes like this style and Wolf. Even recently I had someone talk to me about, why do you make something like whatever?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at dude, I'm like, but for who? Like, for you.
Yeah.
Like, bless, this guy really thinks I make music for him, you know? It's like, no disrespect, but I just make music for me and that's it. And it just has to be fun.
Yeah.
I'll just go with that, just how it makes me feel. And how it feels playing the music in the car, how it feels playing it as a DJ. You know what I mean? That's all
that's what's important as well. That's what got us all into music in the first place. It's like the outside stuff, and sometimes
where people go wrong, or you know, over the years I see it is, you know, people come in with their new vibe or whatever, and then they get stuck on it. You know what I mean? They get caught on that vibe. They
Especially
get caught
if it does well. They're like, all right, that's it, man. I'm done. I found it. I'm just staying here with
and
this.
They want to do a million of that. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes they don't even like that vibe again. But you know, they got, you know, bills and a mortgage to maintain and whatever.
And people over their shoulder like, we need another one of those.
Yeah, really. And no, it's not that. Like, seriously, it's just about just trying to create and just vibing.
And that you can hear that in your music as well, because you haven't, like you said, you could easily have gone back to, I don't know, the Bambata style record, or you could have years later tried to recreate something like an original Nuttah, or tried to do another Wolf, or whatever it may be, and you've always consistently just kind of just kept moving forward, just kept pushing forward, whether that you go off left or right, it's just always something different and fresh, which has been amazing, man, to hear.
Thanks, man.
And a record that not that many people even know that you were a part of, because of course it was a Naughty Boy, Wiley and Emily Sandé record, but you actually did like the final edit on Never Be Your Woman as well for Wiley.
Yeah, so I heard, you know, the original track. Glyn from Relentless at the time brought it to me, and he's like, Shy, you know, it could do with something, I don't know, that
little extra sprinkle.
I ended up doing the additional production on the main release.
And that was another big hit as well, man. In fact, let's get a little blast of that, I reckon.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Great reason.
Well, I guess what they say is true. Right now.
Having lots of fun going back through some of these rhythms. Shy FX on the edit. Naughty Boy, Wiley, Emily Sandé, Never Be a Woman. Shy FX is in the building right now.
Yes, sir.
We are playing some of the great music. We're talking about some of the great music. And there's been so much of it as well, bro. Like, it's like, you could literally just like, I can understand why you don't really need to talk too often as well. It's like, just let my music talk for me, man. I guess, you know, your love for jungle and drum and bass music and everything that you'd been doing, you still had that foundation of reggae and I don't know, lovers rock and roots and ska and all that you were listening to, you know, that your parents and grandparents were playing growing up. When did you decide that, or did you always know that one day I'm going to go in and I'm going to really try and make some like authentic, real reggae, you know, them ones?
Yeah, that's something I wanted to do from a youth. And obviously I sampled a lot over the years. But I didn't want to do it until I knew I was able to do it properly. Do you know what I mean? And do it justice.
Yeah.
And, you know, to be able to now do it I wish I could tell my 14-year-old self
Yeah.
that, look, you
Yeah.
know what I mean, man's done it now. do you know what I mean? So,
Because that's the production techniques with making electronic, you know, drum and bass jungle music, and the techniques that you make like authentic, real reggae music. They're very different, and the machinery is very different.
yeah, and
It takes a certain skill.
yeah, and to really make it sound like what was made back then, the attention to detail and the work that goes into it, do you know what I mean? From the equipment to recording it onto tape and then recording it onto dub, then sampling it back. I mean, it's just...
And like, it sounds like it sounds like the sort of process that unless you were really super passionate about it, you would.
I was playing a passion project.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Because otherwise you'd be like, oh, that's just long,
Yeah.
bro.
And when everyone's saying to me, why don't you make more? I'm like, do you know how long it takes to do this?
But that's the thing, it sounded so good when you did do it.
Yeah.
When you do it, it's like, I'm not surprised that people are like, Shy, we want some more reggae, bro. What's going on? It's crazy. But that whole project, man, was it something that you were like, right, I'm ready, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to just work on some music?
Yeah, and again, I actually made an album's worth, but again, this politics with the whole thing. Generally, when you make a project, people expect you to then tour that project. And I was like, I don't really want to tour a reggae project. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like my sets are just so eclectic and whatnot.
You
so
want to keep that Shy effectsness about it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna even now I'm just releasing little bits and pieces that came from the sessions and everything I did in that period. You know, tunes are coming out here and there from that. You know what I mean?
Listen, I think we should play one of them right now because it does sound like so authentically real and perfectly done, bro. Jeez. This sounds like it was out of the 70s or something, I'm not gonna lie. Shy Effects alongside Liam Bailey. Soon come. We're in depth with Shy Effects right now. Special guest tonight for In Depth, Shy Effects. Like, that just sounds like one of those real OG legendary producers from Jamaica, just been behind the boards.
I mean, to
and
be
whipped
fair,
up a little something for Liam Bailey.
Yeah, now that one was a replay though, so you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Gotta give shouts to the man them that allowed the publishing to go through on that one.
No, of course,
do you know what I mean?
of course. Yeah. Like it's been, like you said, like so eclectic with your musical taste and even with your productions. Your DJing as well, I'm guessing is well, not guessing because I've heard you play many times before, but I guess your DJing kind of reflects all of that as well.
Yeah, I just love music, innit? And it's the idea of just being stuck in one groove just because you are known from the 90s or whatever. It's just mad to me.
Yeah.
It's like it's a blessing to be able to make music and to go into the studio and just whatever's in your head, you know, it can come out into the world. And just to do one particular
just having
thing,
that freedom, I guess, as well. Because at the end of the day, like you wouldn't tell a painter who painted an amazing picture of a tree, and then like he did a few of those, and then everyone's like, "No, you only meant to paint pictures of trees, bro.
Right.
You can't paint a picture of a lady or a car. Like you got to paint trees." I feel like music is the same thing. Like it's art, and if you decide to, you know, express yourself differently, then it should be.
You know what? Man's good at it, innit? So
that's right, exactly
like,
as well. It's not
I'm
like
not experimenting and trying to tinge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I vibe, and like I said, it's for me and people around me.
Yeah.
And if other people, I'm fortunate enough that most of the time the music I make aligns with what people feel. Sometimes it don't, sometimes it does. Whatever, do you know what I mean? But ultimately,
I think you got a pretty good success rate on that one there, Shy. I'd definitely say so.
I just let whatever happens, and sometimes, a lot of the time, it doesn't even feel like I'm writing it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a weird thing, and I've always been like that. It's always been easy for me to just zone out. And I was always that guy, even with the man that was just the weird, quiet one. That was just quiet and daydreaming, and his head was just somewhere else. You know what I mean? And I love being in the studio and creating that. And you know, there's always images and things in my head that it's a really weird way. I can't really describe it.
No, like it's interesting because a lot of musicians they see things like visually, or it's interesting to hear you kind of talk about it as well, because I've never really gone into this much depth with you about. I'm always just like, Shy, man, you're a legend, man, your tunes, and like every time I see you, I'm just bombarding you with that. But it's interesting to hear kind of a bit of the thought process behind some of the records, man. Another record that you dropped, I'm gonna go with, was this 2017 Chocolate?
Yes.
It was, wasn't it? I was about to say 16, but it's like, nah, I'm sure it was 2017. Another record that didn't sound like anything you had necessarily put out before. Like, again, like teaming up with Roses Gabor, you and Breakage, of course, have worked alongside each other in the past.
Yeah.
He dropped stuff on the label.
Digital Soundboy,
As did, like, we didn't even mention, but the likes of Screaming Benga, Caspar, DJ Fresh.
Yeah.
Like, you brought like a lot of these guys through on the label as well with releases.
Yeah. Again, great times, you know what I mean?
Definitely great times, man.
The whole Digital Soundboy ethos was just that whole jungle vibe, which was just a melting pot of different genres, and we built on that.